Recording. Alright, this is going to be the round of 8 game for the DominateDominion.com League of Legends Dominion Tournament. Number 58, Awesome Explosion plus Loli versus the Minion. Seeing the chat bands going off in the chat right here. We got Kha'Zix, Kastan, Jace, and Nidalee right now. I hope everybody's... I hope everyone's got their...
Looks like they're fairly standard bands.
Hope everyone's got their drinks. Hope everyone's sitting down, ready to go. They got their snacks ready. They've got their Papa John's ready. If anyone knows about that deal that was going on, I'm sure someone in the chat can let people know what's up with that. Get your popcorn, whatever you want to do. At least disabled due to a bug this week, so no one's gonna have to spend a ban on that. We're not going to see that picked. That's might change things up a little bit in later rounds that we don't see that. And they can go during the intro. We got plenty of space there. And why don't you talk about the did anyone copy paste the bands? Oops.
I want to say it was Kha'Zix, Kastan, Jace, and Nidalee, but I'm not so sure about the Jace.
Summoner blockers, man, you guys are on it in the chat. Thank you guys. Sorry if I seem a little bit off my game today. I got sick last night at like 4 a.m. when I woke up and it was bad. But I did some doctor stuff and some other things today, and it looks like I'm going to be fine. I'm a little off.
And it looks like it is confirmed in the chat that ban I wasn't certain of is indeed Jace.
Alright, so Kha'Zix, Jace, Nidalee, and Kastan are the bans there. And let me tell you why these guys get banned. In case you don't know, Kha'Zix can jump over walls that other characters can't. Evolved Leap is a great movement ability in this game mode, and his single target damage is completely outrageous. His Taste Their Fear is his single target bursty thing, right? Do I have that ability name right?
It sounds about right.
Okay. But Kha'Zix does so much damage to a single target that he absolutely excels at doing two things. Jumping out and finishing off someone who's trying to flee, or jumping out and hitting someone so hard that they have to disengage from the fight temporarily, which is something that's absolutely vital in many, many types of games, from FPS to RTS to MOBAs, is that you front load enough damage on someone, then you have them fall back from the fight, which means you're reducing the damage that they deal, you're reducing the incoming damage to your team, and they have to wait for cooldowns, or maybe heal a little bit, or maybe just like recall entirely before they can come back. And Kha'Zix is great at forcing that to happen. He's hard to kill too. He can escape very well with the stealth or with the leap, so great character to have in this game mode. Anyone there that plays Kha'Zix in the chat, man, they know just how strong that can be. If you like assassins, he's worth checking out. Jace was also banned. Jace is a good brawler. He's got excellent long-range poke. It's great. It's awesome. You should give him a go. And Jace, later on in the game, he's got all that movement speed from being able to change his stances around, and with the acceleration gate, he can just sweep down into bottom lane, pop out into vision while they're pushed up against the tower, and get that, jump in, swing with the hammer, if he wants to, or he can just like pull up outside just the edge of tower range, just pop into gun mode, blat, 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 take that guy down, and secure that point. He's really good at things like that. He's kind of hard to kill too. He tends to be a little beefy, but it's really his damage potential that makes him ban-worthy. Nidalee's poke is probably the best poke in the game that there is. She can be pretty spammy. She runs through a lot of mana doing it though, but usually build her so that you can support that. She has a heal on top of it. Heals are amazing in this game mode. Durable and delay is always the name of the game. And she has great delay, and she helps her teammates' durability out by having that heal when she's around them. And then, lastly, Kastan being banned. Kastan, extraordinary movement speed and mobility around the map. He has a very long duration silence, and he has a slow. So he can appear and disappear from fights and engagements. He has a great silence. Plus his chase is, like, infinite. You don't want to mess around with Kastan. He can build tanky, he's extremely disruptive, really, really hard to deal with without focused, coordinated CC. And that covers the chat bans. So, Kuriona, you want to go ahead and tell us why the lobby bans might have occurred?
Alright, well, first off on blue side, we have Amumu, probably one of the most frustrating tanks in Dominion to deal with right now. He can reach over terrain or through team fights for a target with his bandage, hit you, stun you. Once he gets into your team with that, he can throw out AoE damage with his tears. chunk your team over time. He can lower your MR with his kit as well, and then if he has his ultimate up and you're in just the wrong position, he can throw it down and lock down your entire team right where they stand. Wukong, probably one of the more dangerous bruisers/assassins in Dominion right now, especially if in combination with something like a Mumu or Leona, where you can just drop down and AoE locking. Hops into a team, triggers his ultimate, knocks everybody up on top of whatever CC they've got going on them at the moment, and dealing massive chunks of damage all at the same time. Lulu got a lot of crowd control, a lot of support for your team. She can shield you, she can throw out slows, she can reveal stealth enemies, she can speed you up, she can boost your AP, and if all that fails, she can just drop your ultimate, spike your base health, make you large, knock up anybody near you. It's just, there's nothing Lulu can't do. And then, did you want to discuss Purple Team's bans?
Yeah, sure. We'll go ahead and talk about those. Looking at the Minions bans over there, Teemo, Leona, and Zyra. Teemo, excellent movement speed around the map, gives vision with the wards, and vision is something that's difficult to get in this game mode. You have to dedicate item slots to vision, you have to dedicate summoner spell slots to vision, or you have to dedicate Teemo mushrooms to vision. And they can be effective as damage, they can be effective at slowing people down, or they can be effective at being placed in locations where people normally walk past but not directly over, and you can use that to gain vision on the map and be able to see where they're going. He has a blind as well as a lot of damage. So Teemo is he's definitely a top contender for the AP slot in this game mode, especially against other high attack speed champions. If there's a Jax on the enemy team, Teemo, great against Jax. Jax tends to be a little squishy. Jax loves attack speed. Teemo blinds Jax, does a bunch of damage to him. And any other character that's really auto-attack reliant, he does well against Pantheon as well in being able to mitigate that champion's damage. So Teemo's tough to deal with because his movement speed helps him stay on the edge of fights and kind of chip in to everything. Leona, lots of crowd control, has an AoE stun, or at least slow if the stun doesn't quite connect, has a direct single target stun on top of that, and she has Zenith Blade, which Zenith Blade's unique mechanic is that it connects with multiple targets in a line, and it drags Leona to the one that's in the back. So Leona is very good at diving to whoever the problem champion is, and being able to lock them down, hopefully, long enough for a team to take them out. Zyra, there, is probably banned out because her AoE damage is just so strong. She has so much AoE, can do a lot of damage, and zones really, really hard. Zyra on a point, that's a point I don't want to push. I want to go somewhere where Zyra's plants and Zyra is not set up to defend. I want to go anywhere else on the map. I want to go to Drill, I want to go to Bottom, I want to go to Refinery, anywhere but a windmill Zyra, unless I have significant amount of backup from my team. Because if you approach from the same direction, and that's just asking for you to get rooted with line effect, airborne, and just plant combo into a free trip back to the summoner platform. Nobody likes that. And Leona also makes an excellent dive as well. I forgot to mention that, with Eclipse being able to engage into fights on the tower, take some tower damage, let her team DPS a little bit, then back out away from it, and hopefully re-engage with the cooldowns up and not get beaten up too bad. We got some picks that have gone down here. We're going to have a couple minutes to talk about those. Do you want to handle Awesome Explosion, or do you want to talk about the Minions picks?
I would actually like to talk about the Minions, because they have a very interesting team composition, in my opinion.
Alright, what can you tell us about that?
Well, I was just kind of noticing that between their initial rush picks, they have Jarvan, Trundle, and Alistar right out the gate. And they followed up with Diana and Gragas. Basically, they have a team that is very much going to be in your face and very bulky as well. I mean, Alistar, Trundle, Jarvan, these are all bruiser tanks, or in the case of Alistar, mostly a tank, who like to get right up into the team, who like to stick and just not let you go, throwing out all sorts of melee damage, debuffs, crowd control. I mean, usually you only see like one or two of them, but it's not very often that you see all three of these tanks in combination. And they're also supporting Diana, who may not have so much innate bulk in her raw stats, but between her mobility with the QR combo and the nice amount of durability she gets from her shield, she can actually take quite a bit of punishment before she goes down. Gragas as well, I've usually tended to see more built tanky whenever they come into Dominion, so there's actually not going to be any particular target, unless you can silence Diana before her shield gets up, that is going to be vulnerable to any form of assassination.
Another thing that I'm seeing there is, because of the champions that they have specifically Jarvan, Trundle, Alistar, they are really not vulnerable to being kited and killed very easily, because Talon can pop a slow on them, or Ahri can connect with a taunt and drag them out a little bit, but they'll just turn around and walk back to the tower and still have plenty of health, and it's not going to be a big deal at all. So that's not really going to work too well.
It's not like they're giving up much damage in exchange for their bulk either, because Jarvan is kind of favored just for the sheer amount of damage he can throw out while also being, fairly unkillable. Trundle, if there's anything he can't hurt, his ultimate is basically going to strip away their defenses, and then he'll go to town with his club.
Another thing I'm seeing here is they are not terribly mobile, except for Jarvan. Jarvan can be pretty mobile with the dash and with Cataclysm. He can move around in the fight. But Trundle and Alistar, not so much. And I think Brand is really going to have an opportunity to eat up those two targets, especially with the percent damage that he's got. I would not be surprised at all to see BFT Brand just kind of slowly chipping away at those guys, throwing down the pillar, throwing down the seer onto points, and kind of forcing them into an engagement that maybe they don't want to get into. They have Maokai with them as well, so if we are going to see some of that lower damage output, but I'm feeling like we're going to see some serious Bruiser J4 here, with him being the one that's going to be the easiest to engage with. So I don't know, it'll be interesting to see what J4 does, whether he's going to go like really tanky, or whether he's going to go for, fight J4. But it'll be interesting to see how they deal with Brand over there, especially with Maokai backing them up, because if they go for sort of builds with their items that aren't going to be too damage intensive and just they're going to focus on out tanking, I think that's going to be severely mitigated by Vengeful Maelstrom from Maokai.
Yeah, I would think it would be likely that Jarvan's going to have to at least go lean more towards damage, if not almost go Glass Cannon. If only for the fact that it's probably either going to be Diana and Gragas in bottom lane, and with Jarvan's ultimate, if he throws that out at the wrong time, or, if Trundle and Alistar can't catch up and he has to engage, he's going to be sealing off the rest of his melee damage, where only Gragas' barrels or Diana's Qs can get in to help him. So whoever he catches, he's going to have to kill himself.
And we are at the loading screen. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the round of 8 game DominateDominion.com League of Legends Dominion Tournament number 58. These two teams are going to be Awesome Explosion plus Loli versus the Minion. Awesome Explosion plus Loli consisting of Coravel playing as Brand, the Loli Brigade playing as Maokai, Armed Weasel playing as Talon, Super Quack Duck playing as Ahri, and Stormfallen playing as Lee Sin. I'm one half of your casters this week for this event. I am Gander, and casting with me is...
I'm Sakuriono.
And who do we have on the other team there?
Let's see. On blue team, we have Coravel, Stormfallen, Loli Brigade, Armed Weasel, and Super Quack Duck.
And over on the Minion side, we have Falcon 3 playing as J4, Gung Ho Gun Line playing as Trundle, Money playing as Alistar. I can't read that on my screen.
That's like Blue
Crate playing as
Blue Crate.
Diana, and Hotcho playing as Gragas. I had to lean all the way into my TV because I'm sitting back away from it. But I got it figured out.
Between the two of us, we'll get all these names sorted.
Should write them down a post note beforehand. Probably help us out a lot. Alright guys, I want you to post in the chat who you think is going to die first. Which champion do you think is going to be the first one to drop in this game here? Seeing the starting items coming out, nothing looks too out of the ordinary here. Boots, Prospector's items for a lot of people. Potions coming out. Kindle Gem on Trundle. Nothing non-standard there. I've got nothing based off these builds. It all looks to be pretty basic.
I mean, it's just pretty much your standard Dominion rush. You get the Prospector items for health and damage output. Trundle might be a little bit unusual, but he's probably got some CDR rush build in mind, so we'll see where he goes with it.
Another thing that people have been pointing out is that there's not going to be a lot of poke going on, really. Diana has some, Jarvan has the tiniest little amount, so they're not going to have a lot of range damage going for him. It's going to be they're going to have to really close the gap to get into fights. And if they can, I feel like they have the CC to keep it rolling with Trundle's slow, with Jarvan's airborne. But you can see right here, Brand catching him out for some damage. Maokai going in, Talon throwing the rake in as well, staying on the edge of the fight right there. Looks like Gung Ho Gun Line could be the first one to go down. Trundle getting taken down right there. Exhaust on Falcon. They all switch their attention over to him, focus him down very quickly, leaving Alistar and Diana for last right there, picking off Alistar. Brand picking up that kill as he runs away, and Talon picking up the kill on Diana there.
Yeah, it looks like purple team burned all their revives, but it's not going to be enough to stop blue from capturing the windmill.
Gung Ho Gun Line taking a lot of damage from Band there in that engagement. And the target switching in that fight was just excellent. They were able to take care of Trundle very quickly. They immediately turned their attention to Jarvan with the exhaust on him, threw all their damage on him. Alistar and Alistar and Diana tried to leave the fight there, going off in different directions. They split. They didn't all commit to chasing one, so they were able to keep the damage on both of them and get them sweeped. And now they are up all their revives, and their team does not have them. Diving on the point right now. Looks like Stormfallen is a little bit of trouble right here, but he's living a little while. And it finally gets taken down there. Falcon low on hit points. They're not able to connect with him. He's going to stand out on the edge of the fight, get those potions going there. He's going to recall. And they have the point neutral right now. Lee Sin has popped his revive. He's on his way back to the fight. Armwheels and Corval have to be able to delay this long enough for their teammates to get there. And it looks like they're going to be okay in doing so. Diana right now doesn't have her Lunar Rush. She's not 6 yet. She doesn't have a quick teleport out of that fight. She's going to try to do a little damage to Armweasel there, but she does get caught. Nice seer by Brand, picking up that stun, locking her down, letting the two melee guys take her out.
Yeah, it was a valiant effort, but unfortunately she just doesn't have the kit to disengage on that type of situation. And with Purple Team's build right now, they're kind of struggling at the moment, but since they have the tankier types, they're kind of banking on at least getting to the middle game or hoping for that late game to hit where each individual one is just going to become a monster in and of their own.
Snare goes off on a hot show there, but he is able to get away. Maokai didn't look like he was in range to pop the airborne on him, or maybe he didn't connect, I didn't quite see. Up at the top though, free push starting up there. Alistar zoning him back. That's one thing that Alistar is very good at. Armweasel gets in, but not able to interrupt that from being captured. The minions would have been there to pull the neutral off on it. Talon stealths and runs around the fight, letting his stuff reset. Brand with a great Pyroclasm right there. Lots of damage coming out from him. Jarvan trying to get away there and hanging out on the back of the fight. He looks like he wants to do something. He has plenty of mana, but he doesn't have any backup. He could be quickly killed if he engaged, so wisely opting for the recall there. Diana's going to have to kind of stay active in this area of the map and try and discourage any pushes they may make for the drill. They do have 3 champions there. Jarvan and Diana back. See, there's the clairvoyance going down from blue team, letting them see what's going on. They want to know who else is around. They see it's only Diana. So they're feeling pretty safe right now, knowing that it's just Diana, J4. The enemies have just respawned, but they have Talon and Lee on their way up to the top. So it doesn't look like there's going to be any opportunity for an imbalanced push from red team.
Yeah, I'm just noticing their items as well in purple team. It looks like they are possibly going to be rushing 2 runics right out the gate. So they are planning to turtle down pretty hard if they can get this windmill.
Got the Maelstrom down on it right now. Minions chipping away at the point is the quest objective. Cataclysm goes off, boxes Armweasel, and Minions do pick up the neutral. So Defender's advantage is lost on the point. They converge on Talon to take him down. Alistar's got enough health, I think, to stay alive in this fight a little bit longer there. And Stormfallen eventually goes down. Loli Brigade pops the airborne on Falcon, enables Brand to pick up the kill. Great job with the CC there at the end of that fight.
Yeah, it was just such great timing for Brand to show up and clean up that fight. He probably couldn't have asked for a better situation.
They are in control of the windmill again. Maokai there, maxing that twisted advance pretty fast, wants to be able to machine gun that CC down. Really wants to lock targets down so that Brand and Talon can't connect with them. Talon going down for the gank at the bottom there. Gragas trying to retreat there. Alright with Spirit Rush up. Great cast. Knocks him back. Gragas is going to be able to get away. Brand hanging out in the bushes. Sees exactly what's going on. Waiting for his teammates though. Not going to start that fight without his allies there. Wise decision on his point. It could come in from the bottom.
Looks
Talon
like
Brand
going to try and siege once more.
pushing in with the minions again there. Raked by Talon, weakening those minions a lot. Minions are going to get killed off. They're not going to get very much capture in at all on that point. This is the quest objective point, but it's not looking like they're in a position where they can really take it right now. They're going to try and feed minions to this tower, it looks like. I don't know how long they're going to do for that. How long they're going to do that before the poke from Brand starts to really have its impact. Pyroclasm goes off. Every single bounce hits a champion right there. Fight starts. Maelstrom goes down, and that Maelstrom helping them out so much in that fight. That pops for a lot of damage there. Jarvan is going to get taken down by the Pillar Flame, and now Alistar left alive, swept up top, cleaning it up. Brand and Maokai really showing the combination there.
Yeah, it was a really dangerous engagement to a high-risk play, because if you saw any of the levels in that fight, most of blue team was sporting 9 at the time, and now Lee Sin is even folded over to 10. It's not exactly easy to snowball in Dominion, but if you lose enough of those early level fights, you can start falling behind, and at the worst, you can sometimes fall down to even a 3-level difference. So Purple's going to have to watch where they choose to engage, and they really need to win these next 2 fights.
Big play by Ahri down there, very risky, comes up from the bottom, snipes out Gragas real fast, forces the revive right there, and Gragas is going to go into the jungle looking for it. I think Ahri sees that that's going to happen, throws down the barrel right there, doesn't connect. Ahri successfully manages to get away. Top end of the fight, Money gets caught out away from his teammates. Lots of damage put on him immediately there. He has to circle around, forced out of the fight. Circles in around from the back though, but he really can't do anything at this point. Having not been there to apply the CC with the rest of his teammates, they get eaten up there. However, the exchange was pretty even. Deaths on both sides. I don't think Lee Sin's in a position to take the drill.
Nah, they exchanged 2 on blue for 3 on purple. Lee's probably just going to push this minion wave up, hope that it naturally grows in strength and puts enough threat on mid to keep them from having a nice jungle control presence, which it looks like it might. No, Alistar is actually seeing that minion wave in process and is going to intercept it.
Brand going down for the Boneyard there. Let's see how they respond to this. Brand reveals himself on the map. Is Gragas going to turn around? Yes, Gragas is turning around. So is Jarvan. Both of them heading down to the bottom point. Looks like Ahri's keeping Gragas busy right now as he tries to retreat. Corville's Brand does get the neutral there and is going to back off. And up at the top, however, we have 3v3 engagement up here. Armweasel gets airborne, caught by Alistar, but there's no damage to follow it up, unfortunately. Diana was at the far north end of that fight there, and so was Trundle. So while that CC was applied, Talon was just fine. Lee Sin gets killed, however, and Money, with the ultimate up, is going to have to retreat.
Yeah, blue team is starting to come into their snowball effect now, but to purple team's credit, they are getting some kills off in every engagement, so they still have a good chance of winning a team fight if they can find the right positioning and focus their damage on enough targets to get the job done.
With the game going the way that it has been going, though, they are going to have to work to drag it out long enough for that to happen, though. 10-minute mark already down, more than half their Nexus health. So this is looking to be a little bit quicker than your average game if things keep going the way that they have been. 459 Nexus health currently for Awesome Explosion plus Loli there. So if they do manage to get a hold of a tower, they will have a lot of time that they can drag out on the clock to help them build that advantage there. Korvalk being caught by Money there. CC being applied to him, but he is able to get in the fight and apply that damage. J4 boxes everyone in at the top there. However, it doesn't quite seem to have turned out the way that he would have wanted. Gung Ho Gun Line going down last, and another sweep at the windmill. Awesome Explosion plus Law has just been playing so well this game.
Yeah, it was unfortunate for Jarvan. He made the engagement on that, but it felt like he caught just a little too many people on his ult, so they're able to turn around, and instead of catching somebody out, he locked himself in the cage with the bear.
That is not a place that you want to be. Unless that bear is the bear. In which case it might be okay. Grog's going to pick up the health relic down here, which he will need if Lee Sin decides to come down. Barrel going to be on cooldown for a few moments here. Lee Sin's got a good opportunity to make this play. He's got a lot of range there, but it looks like he doesn't want to go for it. People are heading up to the top end of the map. Lee Sin wants to help his friends out up there instead. Brand trying to keep this point from going neutral up here by himself. Lots of CC on Brand there, and his health so low. Gets the Pyroclasm off barely before he dies. However, Trundle enters the fight. The point, they're falling away from it, so they're not going to take that extra tower damage. Gung Ho Gun Lion, though, getting shot as he's locked down just barely inside of its range. Alistar gets killed. So does Trundle. Diana, the only one left alive, falls back towards Jarvan. They're both looking to get to the drill, so that way they can discourage any play made for that and defend it. Airborne on Maokai. Are they going to have enough damage to take him down? Safeguard in, and it looks like Lee Sin's going to keep his friend alive.
Yeah, Maokai was really the all-star player for that windmill fight, because even though Brand was doing a fantastic job holding off Purple Team by himself, Maokai got up there just in time and dropped his ultimate with enough time to spare for Brand's ultimate to come off cooldown and for him to launch it right before they managed to get to him.
Trundle going for Maokai there, dives straight onto the tower. Zero care about the damage from it as he tries to pursue it. On Weasel, though, wants to connect with Gung Ho Gun Lion, puts the exhaust off on him. Is Talon going to be able to take down Trundle? Yes, he is. Corval, though, barely alive after that exchange, and Alistar running away right into Lee Sin, unfortunately, and getting taken down there. Point defended up there at the top by Awesome Explosion plus Loli, and it just seems like they can't be unseated from that position.
Yeah, what seems to be happening is Armed Weasel is just doing his job exceptionally well as Talon. With as tanky as their Bruiser line is building, they need Diana to basically get whatever target she's aiming for, but Talon just keeps popping in through their line and denying her any opportunity to unload multiple combos.
The stall from Diana was very unfortunate. Talon used his ultimate to pick her off when it ended there. And looks like they're going for the 3v3 up there. Brand, though, coming in from the back. It's going to make this fight a little bit scary if he's able to connect the way that he wants to. Twisted Advance goes in. So does Lee Sin. Throws down the Pyroclasm. Hits a ton of people right there. Lots of damage coming out. Brand really able to contribute to this fight, keeping Falcon away from everyone else now. So Jarvan is going to be able to put that DPS onto any of the two damage bruisers up top, the assassin or the bruiser. And now Money alive by himself. A couple of nice little tricky plays right there, extending his lifespan just a tad, but unfortunately he is going to get sent back to base. Now Blue Krail is going to have to try and defend this by himself, but he's caught off point though. The large minion wave being pushed up on that. Clairvoyance for the vision to make sure that Diana can't play in those games. Barely tagged with the Seer is going to get taken down. The bottom lane, Gragas was able to get the point neutral. Talon came down there to bail that out. So clock temporarily stopped for a couple of moments here, and it's going to buy them a few seconds extra, but I still don't see them in a position where they can make a play for the windmill right now. They just have Alistar and Jarvan up. Looks like Trundle heading down to the bottom there. Looks like he and Gragas might be going for that point, deciding that if we can't get the windmill, we need to take something else.
Yeah, they're going to basically need the perfect play right now, because in the last fight, whenever Brand launched his ultimate, even though it was only doing chip damage to each one of the tanky characters, it's the fact that they can put out so much more sustained damage right now than the purple team can absorb that they really just need to... I don't know what they have to do at this point, but they're going to have to do it fast.
It looks like that's what they're going for down here in the bottom. Hot Show and Trundle down there. Defensive Garrison goes off on that tower, though, and that's something they did not want to see. That push getting defeated was one thing, but with the defensive Garrison on there, the minions did not even have a chance at neutraling it. And with both the people down there in the bottom lane, opens up Super Quack Duck to be able to pick up this point, and the drill being captured as well. Only neutral for now, though, so it looks like it's going to be a 3 2/2 cap here, and the game is going to be closed out very quickly. There's not a lot they can do in this position. They can't get to any points there. Drill gets captured. Boneyard gets captured. Awesome Explosion plus Loli throwing down the 5 towers to finish this off and convincingly advance on to the next round. And let's take a look at Gragas down there with all of the blasting wands ever. Now let's take a look at that post-game lobby, get another look at these builds here, and Sakuriono, you can tell me what you think of how this played out here while I look at setting up the next game.
Honestly, what I think it came down to is that Purple Team simply did not have enough damage to finish off whoever they engaged upon. I was anticipating Jarvan would go either Heavy Damage Bruiser or Glass Cannon to make up for that in their composition. However, I noticed early on he was rushing Merc Treads, Hex Drinker, and then as you see from the build, he went for a Locket and other defensive items. So even with his natural ability to get through defenses, it just unfortunately wasn't enough. Trundle also going full tank. It looks like from the Emblem of Valor that there may have been a miscommunication because there's a Aegis on Alistar, but the makings of one on Trundle. And even though they do sort of stack on the people who have them, it looks like they may have just had a slight miscommunication with who was supposed to go damage that game.
Okay.
Welcome back, Philandum.
Watching the game between Cheese Enema and AEL next, so it seems we've followed AEL through the bracket so far.
Oh, excellent. I'd love to see Cheese Enema. I love having those guys on camera. They always produce wildly varying games from tournament to tournament, so they are always nice to watch.
You can't go wrong with a name like Cheese Enema.
No, you really can't. It's Pepperjack, if no one knew. Graveyard hero this game, Diana. Ari loves living. Look at that one. Just one.
Yeah, if you look at the damage dealt to champions, you can definitely see the weakness in the 3-take combo, as I mentioned.
Yeah, not a lot of hurt, not a lot of pain coming out from them there. And, I mean, Diana and Jarvan, I mean, they were able to do some damage, but just the way the fights went, they didn't have an ability to really... Diana couldn't really live long enough when she was able to engage, and they just focused Jarvan so quickly. Jarvan ate exhausts like crazy that game.
Yeah, as you can kind of see just from Talon's amount of damage, I'm willing to bet a fair amount of that came from him focusing on Diana, which is probably also why her damage is so low. She was just being denied any chance that they got to shut her down.
It turns out that's actually real Xander in the chat. Hey, sup dude, thanks for watching. Thought you were a fake alt account at first. I'm going to throw up the overlay, guys, and I'm going to get this next game set up for you. So stay tuned, and we will bring you more games in just a few moments.